Red King inching up on the outside of Moody Jim. They're covered by just 3.5 lengths, half-mile left to run in the 10-man Turf Starter Distance Series. WW and Current now just a head away. Those two round the far turn together. Kazan a length back, pushed along from third. Moody Jim and Red King are right together. A quarter of a mile to run. WW and Current stride for stride. Moody Jim trying to get angled off, and he has a beautiful seam. Moody Jim now comes after the top pair with a furlong left to go. Current gets the jump, a 2-length lead on Moody Jim moving into second. Then WW in third. Current is sharp past the 16th pole, and it will be Current. A good trip to victory under Chris Amy. Wins it by 2 lengths. Red King second, Moody Jim third, then WW. Here's Star Sailor to the outside. They're in the gate. And they're off. No Hang Charlie is going to the front. Perfecto Amor keeps him company, and Bud Knight third in the early going. Then Mongolian Legend and Star Sailor, who broke outward, is now guided to the rail and is the distant trailer. Around the first turn they go, and it's No Hang Charlie leading the way, in front by about 2. Perfecto Amor second by a couple of lengths back to Bud Knight third. Mongolian Legend fourth on the outside, 3 lengths off the lead, and a gap of 4 back to Star Sailor, who's getting a little bit closer now with some urging. They have 5/8 to run. No Hang Charlie to catch. The lead just under a length. Perfecto Amor second. Then Bud Knight still third, followed by Mongolian Legend, and Star Sailor at the back. 5 lengths covers the field. They're a half mile from home. It's Diego Herrera and No Hang Charlie carving out the fractions. 3 parts of a length. Perfecto Amor now asked to get after him in second. Bud Knight also hustled up in third. 2 more lengths back to Mongolian Legend, and then comes Star Sailor. Approaching the quarter pole. No Hang Charlie, the rest of them are trying to get to this front runner, but No Hang Charlie starting to sneak away. Has it by almost 2 at the top of the stretch. Perfecto Amor second, then Bud Knight. Star Sailor coming through at the rail with a rally. A furlong from home. No Hang Charlie spurts clear by 3. Star Sailor on the inside making progress. Bud Knight is outside of him. They're a 16th out, and it's No Hang Charlie, Bud Knight, Star Sailor, No Hang Charlie all the way. Bud Knight, second best. Star Sailor third. Is Star. And they're off. It's a quick beginning for Artist. Topolina is showing plenty of early speed too. These two stride for stride as they get back on the main course. Indy Star is about 2 lengths off the leader in third. And then Pretty Rena fourth in the burgundy colors. Another 2.5, an Agent Mistake, followed by a Crown for Kitten, and 4 more lengths to La Chiquise as they pass the half-mile pole. And the lead belongs to Topolina, carving out the fractions with a 2-length cushion on Artist in second. Then comes Pretty Rena, 4 lengths off the leader, who's starting to shake loose. Outside of her comes Indy Star racing in fourth. Then comes an Agent Mistake, a Crown for Kitten, La Chiquise at the back. They turn for home, and Topolina in command. Artist 4 lengths back in second, followed by Pretty Rena, who angles to the outside between horses and Agent Mistake. And then it's Indy Star, a 16th to go. And it's still Topolina with a 3-length lead, chased by Stablemate and Agent Mistake, who's flying. And an Agent Mistake wrapped up by Mario Gutierrez wins it going away. Topolina second, Pretty Rena third, then Indy Star, and a battle for fifth included La Chiquise. Running time 109.62 seconds. Super high five going in. Gold included to the outside. And they're off. Destiny's Journey bounces out quicker than all. Discernment has some early speed. The favorite Take a Leap is up close in the early going. Then Gold included. Peace Pipe and Bossy Soul down on the inside had to steady just a bit. Around the first turn, and it's Destiny's Journey to set the pace unopposed. Chased by Take a Leap, who moves clearly into second. Discernment is in third. Then Gold included, 4 off the pace in fourth, followed by Bossy Soul taken in hand fifth, and 3/4 to Peace Pipe. Onto the backstretch they go. And it's Destiny's Journey in control, a length and a half. Take a Leap second by about a length, and Discernment still very much in the thick of it, third, 2 lengths off the leader. Then comes Gold included. Bossy Soul is next. And then it's another 3 or 4, Peace Pipe tailing off. Down the backstretch, they continue toward the 3/8 pole. Destiny's Journey, Take a Leap within a half length now, second. 2 more, Discernment in third. They're followed by Bossy Soul on the inside of Gold included, and a distance to Peace Pipe not being pushed. Midway on the far turn, Take a Leap takes the lead. Destiny's Journey now a neck back. Discernment moves up 3 wide, a threatening presence. Then comes Bossy Soul. Top of the stretch, Take a Leap. Here's Discernment on the outside. Bossy Soul looking for room just behind these rivals as Destiny's Journey loses some ground. A 16th of a mile to run. Take a Leap clinging to the lead. Discernment, Destiny's Journey. Bossy Soul switches out. Too late, and it will be Take a Leap to get the money. Discernment second. Bossy Soul third. Destiny's Journey fourth. And they're off. The favorite Wilder Than Most came out smoothly in the center. Bally's Charm on the outside has some speed, as does Mischievous Path. And so it's Bally's Charm by the stands the first time, taking the lead pretty easily. Wilder Than Most in second. Mischievous Path is racing in third, followed by Happy Happy, white blinkers on the outside, and 3 off the pace in fourth. Worse Reed Sanchez, Rifey, and Goodbye Putin is 8 lengths off the lead. Bally's Charm sets the pace and is unopposed on the front end, has it by 2 lengths. Wilder Than Most tracks from second. Then Happy Happy covering Mischievous Path. Behind them, Worse Reed Sanchez under a nice hold at this stage, 7 lengths off the lead. 2.5 more, Goodbye Putin and Rifey. They swing on to the backstretch with Bally's Charm in control, a 2.5 length lead. Wilder Than Most second by the same margin, and Happy Happy third past the half-mile pole. At the rail, Mischievous Path is fourth as they start to string out. Still another 4 to Worse Reed Sanchez, Goodbye Putin, and Rifey. Bally's Charm now gets a challenge from Wilder Than Most, who's within a neck second. A length and a half, Happy Happy in third. At the rail, Mischievous Path. Worse Reed Sanchez, 4 lengths off the lead. Another 2 to Goodbye Putin and Rifey. They're at the top of the stretch. Wilder Than Most, right up to Bally's Charm, who keeps fighting. Here comes Worse Reed Sanchez, who's been traveling beautifully throughout and coming with a stellar rally. Happy Happy to the inside. A 16th to go. Wilder Than Most, Worse Reed Sanchez. Worse Reed Sanchez or Wilder Than Most. Photo finish. That got real close. Between Wilder Than Most and Worse Reed Sanchez. Photo for third as well between Happy Happy, who was racing on the inside, and they're off. The favorite Wilder Than Most came out smoothly in the off the late pick 4. Post time in 24 minutes. They're off. Dixie's Two Stints is going straight to the front. On the inside, here's Grand Concourse Guy coming to challenge, and Speedboat's a little quicker than both of them. Far outside, Surf Ranch. Four of them separated by less than a length. Candy Fury is only 2 lengths off the speed, moving up willingly along the rail. And then comes Cross Indian, who's wide and last. Past the half mile, and it's Grand Concourse Guy leading it by a head. Dixie's Two Stints in between horses. Speedboat a half length back while 3 wide, keeping pace in third. Then Candy Fury fourth. Surf Ranch has lost plenty of ground, and another 2 back to Cross Indian. They have a quarter of a mile to run. Grand Concourse Guy digging in along the inside, but now Dixie's Two Stints takes the lead. A 3 wide Speedboat is outside of them, and then Candy Fury, they're a furlong from the finish, and it's Dixie's Two Stints now edging away, opens up 2 lengths. Battle is for second at the 16th pole as Dixie's Two Stints far superior, pouring it on late, in fact, with mild urging to win by about a half dozen. Grand Concourse Guy fended off Speedboat to complete the exacta, then Candy Fury. They're in the gate. And they're off. Sash, a little bit awkward early, but showing plenty of early speed. Dicey Mochara up alongside. And on the outside of them, it's Evening Sun, a joint third, racing on the outside of Flashiest. Perfectionistic is down on the inside, and Awfully Naughty trails the compact group. Sash will set the pace, leads it by 3/4 of a length. Dicey Mochara in second. Then Flashiest, Evening Sun, Perfectionistic on the inside, is a little bit keen. And just outside of him comes Awfully Naughty. They move around the clubhouse turn with Sash the leader by a length and a half. Dicey Mochara is in second. Perfectionistic gets a little breathing room and comes through along the inside. Flashiest in the pink silks is 3 lengths off the lead. Then Awfully Naughty and Evening Sun. Down the backstretch they go. Sash and Kyle Frey by a length. Dicey Mochara comfortable in second. Perfectionistic at the rail, and Flashiest remains outside of him as they pass the half-mile pole. Awfully Naughty, Evening Sun. Less than 5 lengths covers them. Sash still by just under a length. Dicey Mochara now moves to engage second. Flashiest outside of them, 3 wide, a length and a half off the lead. Perfectionistic, Evening Sun, Awfully Naughty, several chances with a quarter of a mile to go. And Dicey Mochara takes the lead. Tackled, though, on the outside by Evening Sun. And Evening Sun, a menacing presence, puts his head in front. On the far outside, Awfully Naughty surfaces late. And in the meantime, Dicey Mochara not done and coming right back for more. Dicey Mochara, Evening Sun, Dicey Mochara. Pratt had plenty left in the tank, and they end up winning 3/4. Evening Sun made a bid, but had to settle for second. Then Awfully Naughty third. Photo between Flashiest and Perfectionistic. And they're off. Very even beginning. Canadian Pride and Fashionably Fast, but now here comes Took Charge, who does just that. And Took Charge is the leader. Fashionably Fast, Canadian Pride between those two. Vittorio is fourth, taken in hand. 3 lengths off the battle up top. Direct Line is just outside of him. It's Took Charge to the half-mile pole, doing it pretty easily, in front 3/4 of a length. Canadian Pride second, now a full length behind the front runner, and Fashionably Fast is outside of him. Then Vittorio with 4 to make up and another 2 to Direct Line. Took Charge 3 furlongs from the money, a length and a half in front. Canadian Pride second. Fashionably Fast asked for a bit more on the outside third. Still another 3 back to Vittorio and then a distance to Direct Line. Past the quarter pole and turning for home, Took Charge and Canadian Pride square off. Took Charge hugs the rail and goes on strongly. Canadian Pride, a menacing presence. They'll pass the 8th pole, 3 lengths in front of Fashionably Fast. Canadian Pride puts his gray head in front and now starts to edge clear with a 16th to go. And it's Canadian Pride giving Flavien Prat a triple, winning pretty easily by 2. Took Charge second, Fashionably Fast third, and then Vittorio. Golden Hour double wagering, 24 minutes to post. Bonnie Bray to the outside. All in. And they're off. Quick beginning for Roubaix. Madiha is up close in the early stages, and Lady Sassafras is down at the rail. Just behind them, Bonnie Bray racing in 4th. Councilwoman Jilly's a little bit eager. Exactly Wendy is in mid-pack, 5 lengths off the speed. It's then a gap of 3 back to Busker Alley, racing on the inside of Command Anna, and that pair followed by Abita. Around the first turn they go, and it's Roubaix setting the pace, leading 3/4 of a length. Lady Sassafras applies a little bit of pressure in second. It's 2 more lengths to Madiha, covering Councilwoman Jilly. Then comes Bonnie Bray, 5 lengths off the lead. 3/4 to Exactly Wendy. Busker Alley is next, followed by Abita. And then with a half-mile left to go, at the back comes Command Anna. They're heading toward the far turn. Roubaix has been in control thus far. Leads at a length and a half to Lady Sassafras. Councilwoman Jilly, Madiha in the yellow now takes third and sets sail after the leader. Another 2 lengths back to Exactly Wendy, inside Bonnie Bray. Then Busker Alley with a lot of work to do, followed by Abita and Command Anna. Quarter to go, Roubaix hugs the rail. Madiha blew the turn a bit, but is coming smartly after her. Another 3 lengths back to Bonnie Bray in third. They're in the final furlong, and Madiha takes over, putting away Roubaix. Abita has surfaced from well out of it. Exactly Wendy is next, but it's all Madiha. Madiha pours it on through the stretch to win by 4 lengths. Abita and I catching second. 3-way battle among Exactly Wendy, Bonnie Bray, and Roubaix for the rest.
Racing truly is a global game, isn't it? Did you pay attention to yesterday's last race? There was a runner by the name of Madiha who emerged victorious at odds of 3-2. And you know what? It was owned by a partnership, and one of the partners was actually Pakistani, and he was here at the races, but his wife was in Pakistan watching the race live. The runner was named after her. It was 4 a.m. in Pakistan, and she was going crazy. She might have been the loudest one in the world rooting for her horse. Hi, everybody. My name is Tom Quigley, VIP Player Concierge, also your seminar host for the next 40 minutes. Delighted that you decided to join us on a spectacular and glorious day here at the Great Race Place. We've got 3 graded stake races, of course, a large single-ticket jackpot, single-ticket carryover. But more importantly, we've got a guest who's involved in global racing partnerships as well. He's the managing partner for Slam Dunk Racing. He's a good friend of mine. His name, Nick Casado. Nick, welcome to the seminar.
Great day. Thanks for having me.
It really is a great day, and it's a great day because you're our guest. Let's talk a little bit about Slam Dunk Racing. You've been around the block once or twice. You were a jockey agent for many prominent jockeys like Garrett Gomez, Corey Nakatani, Michael Bays, and many others. But now you decided to play the game from the other side, becoming an owner and very heavily involved in the game. Talk about your team a little bit. Of course, you're the head honcho, but you can't do it by yourself. Who are some of the people helping you behind the scenes?
Well, first and foremost, I have my son, Ryan, who obviously many people out here know from being a kid following me around as a jocks agent, and his grandfather on his mother's side, Danny Velasquez, being a former jockey turned trainer, now retired.
And you were a kid following on your dad when you were a young man.
Oh, yeah. I was in a little different atmosphere. I was over here by Clocker's Corner on the apron. You know, I didn't make it to the turf club and they didn't have the front runner back then or anything.
Or Eddie Logan.
Or the Eddie Logan. But, yeah, grew up around here, went to Temple City High School, as did Ryan, my son. The trainers that we have involved here in California, Richie Baltus, Phil D'Amato. We had Peter Miller. Now it's Ruben Alvarado. We've had Simon Callahan. We have a horse here and there with him. He did a great job with Maxim Rate. That's pretty much about it here. We have Safi Joseph in Florida. Love Safi. Does a fantastic job for us there. And then when we have a horse in New York, it's Robert Falcone, who does our legwork over there.
And Robert decided to spend the winter here in Southern California. He's a smart man with the weather we have here compared to back to the Big Apple. But it's good to see him back in Southern California as well.
I actually haven't seen the whites of his eyes yet, but I know he's run horses. Is he actually physically?
He is. I physically have seen him.
Okay. Yeah, he knows where to be in the winter, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Now talk about your European team, because that's what I'm most interested in. You obviously have had a lot of success importing horses over from Europe and basically developing them into either really nice runners or even stakes runners. Who do you have on that side of the pond kind of helping you out?
Well, it's kind of a little bit on the hush-hush who we have, and the reason why in that is that I used to deal with an agent over there, and he did a fantastic job for us, and everyone kind of caught wind of it.
And then competition.
Next thing I knew, everyone was trying to buy horses with him. So I kind of keep it on the down low who we do business with over there, and there are 2 guys.
And how does it work? In other words, do they kind of recommend a few runners to you?
Yeah.
You watch the tapes, and then you kind of make a decision whether to pull the trigger?
Yeah, especially when there's turf racing over there, not so much when there's synthetic racing like there is now in the winter. But when the turf season is in form over there, they're sending me probably 5 horses a week. And then we, Ryan and I kind of put our heads together and decide if this is a horse that we think will fit here or not. And then if we do, we go forward and try to buy them.
And what about the sales, the actual baby sales, the auctions that are all around the country, Ocala, Keeneland here in Southern California? Do you have people helping you? Do you guys do a lot of traveling? Kind of what's the game plan there?
Well, we have the 2-year-old sales, the OBS sales coming up in March and April, and Ryan and I will go back there. Sarge, Mr.
Hoorah!
There you go. He kind of does quite a bit of pre-work for us. And he's back.
Shortens down the list a little bit.
He kind of compiles a pretty good short list for us. I think Nick has a fantastic eye, so I bounce a lot of things off of him. And he's pretty much our acting agent at most of the yearling and 2-year-old training sales.
Now, I'm dating you because I said you were a jockey agent in a previous life, and you played at the highest level. When I think of probably the most savvy agents that I've ever encountered, it would be Ron Anderson, Ronnie Ebanks, and yourself. They're all good salesmen, and you're a very good salesman. Like I said, you had some of the premier jockeys. Why did you decide to step away from that aspect of the game and get involved in ownership?
Well, I took a year off when I started another business with my ex-girlfriend. And
outside of racing,
it's a clinical research business. And I kind of got back into ownership. I wasn't sure if I was going to become an agent again. I was actually asked by two very prominent writers to work for them, and I just didn't know if I wanted to do it or not. And I thought there were like about 6 of us, friends and partners, and we'd have about a dozen horses. And Tom, the next thing I know, we're looking at 90 horses, 20 partners, and it really morphed into something quicker than I anticipated.
And you're looking for more partners as well, right? It's kind of like I wouldn't call it a family affair, but it's a business where you want to have fun, right? In other words, you want to bring people into the game.
Yep.
You want to expose them to racing at the highest level, and you're looking for investors and partners if they want to come on board.
Yeah, you saw a few of our guys last week.
More than a few.
Yeah. Ed Maldonado really filled the Eddie Logan, didn't he?
I think it was the Ed Maldonado suite.
Yeah, that's what it turned into last week. Yeah, guys like that, though, that are passionate about the game. I'm very straightforward with what the game entails, how difficult it is to be profitable. But I ensure the guys that you're going to have a fun time if you get into slam dunk. And if you get into racing, partnerships are kind of becoming the way to go just because it's economically feasible. These bills are pretty high. So we encourage anyone, if you want to get into the game, give us a shout.
What's more thrilling, Nick? I know you've been able to step up to the windows once and twice and have that exhilarating feeling of cashing a good-sized ticket. But, of course, now you've won graded stakes races as well. Are they equal? Is one more superior than the other? I've never been on that side of the table. That's why I'm asking.
They're very equal, but owning horses, it's like, you look at like Joe Torre, AJ Foyt, guys that have done it, Rick Pitino, guys that have done it in other sports at the highest level, won championships, won Indy 500s. They all have a common theme that winning a horse race plateaus anything. So that probably tells you quite a bit about what winning a race feels like as an owner.
It's almost like owning a sports franchise, right? Where you don't have to deal with all the attitudes of the athletes.
Yeah.
I mean, the horses are loving creatures, right? I mean, they're beautiful to look at. They're beautiful to run. They're beautiful to look at, run. They're beautiful to hang out with on the backside, when they're not racing. That's, I think, part of the intoxication.
Absolutely. There's no talking back from horses. And as we've seen the way the athletes are nowadays, coaches and general managers and the like are becoming more, what could you say? The athletes have a lot more say. Let's put it like that.
We're looking for Nick to talk back to us. That's because he's going to tell us who he likes on today's 9-race card. But before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati and get the early changes on today's Saturday's card at the Great Race Place.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the Great Race Place. Here are the early changes. The track is fast, the turf is firm, the rail on the turf at 0 feet. The first is the Grade 3 Thunder Road Stakes with no scratches or jockey changes. The second starts the early pick 4, scratch number 1, Vegan, and with that scratch, there will be no show wagering in the second. In the third, just the blinker note. In race 4, we start the Rainbow Pick 6. Jackpot pool for a single ticket winner will start today with $352,000. Number 6, Mr. Bug Z, 3 pounds over. In the fifth, scratch 4, Limu Bai, late pick 5 starts with the fifth. The sixth is the Grade 2 Santa Monica Stakes and the beginning of the late pick 4. No changes. In the seventh, scratch the also eligible number 11, Guildsman. Eighth is the Grade 2 San Pasquale Stakes. It also kicks off the Golden Hour, pick 4. No changes in the eighth. And in the ninth, the program scratch of number 8. Enjoy your afternoon here at Santa Anita Park. Post time for the first in 59 minutes at 12:30. At this time, we go back to Quigley's Corner. Tom's special guest today is Nick Casado of Slam Dunk Racing.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with Nick Casado. He's the managing partner for Slam Dunk Racing. You get involved with his partnerships. You can go to @SlamDunkRacing on Twitter or SlamDunkRacing.com. You'll find plenty of information there in terms of how to get in touch with him and his right-hand man, his son, Ryan Casado, as well. Nick, before we take a look at today's 9-race card, question I ask a lot of our guests, I'll ask you because you're very intimate and you know this question probably better than most. What separates a great jockey from a good jockey? We have a few great jockeys on the grounds right now. Flavien and Johnny V come to mind, certainly, but there's a lot of good jockeys. What's the separator between them?
I think it's their positioning in races. The good riders or the great riders tend to make fewer mistakes. You can't make a slow horse run fast, right, Tom?
Not that I found out yet.
No. So a lot of these guys aren't handed the faster horses. So maybe in some respects it's unfair to judge them. But the good riders, when you look at them day in and day out, they're never in the wrong spot. And I think that's the quintessential element to what makes a rider good versus great.
And success begets success. And of course, they're in high demand. You had riders that were in high demand. How do you juggle that? How do you kind of tell some trainers, look, I'm going to take a pass. Other trainers, I really want to ride your horse. How do you juggle those relationships?
You try to keep everyone happy, which is virtually impossible. But sometimes a guy might come to you, a trainer with a horse, and you're open in the race and you tell him you're gone. He's not offended. He doesn't feel like you don't want to do business with him or ride his horse, but it just kind of soothes everything, and you hope that a good mount becomes available to you.
We're hoping you can find a few good mounts for us today on today's 9-race card, Nick. So we're going to kick things off here in race number 1 with the popular 50-cent early pick 5, and we're on the turf course. It's the first of 3 graded stakes races. It's the Thunder Road Stakes. Grade $300,000 is the purse. The rails are at 0 feet, a field of 6. The morning line favorite of the current betting choice is number 1, Subconscious. Even money on the board. One of 2 runners you have on today's card is running in here, Nick. It's number 5, Ready Soul. Before we get your opinion on the race, let's watch Ready Soul's race on Halloween, 2 races back when that race was on the turf course, which of course is the surface they'll be running over today.
They're in the gate, and they're off. A little bit of crowding for KP, all systems go. Nothing too serious. It's Ready Soul going out for the lead with Margot's Boy now joining on the outside. Evening Sun comes away in third. Then Media Blitz in fourth. Red Storm Risen is fifth along the inside and taken in hand, about 4 lengths off the pace. It's another 3 back to KP. All systems go. It's Margot's Boy, the leader, with Evening Sun coming through on the inside, those 2 on even terms. Ready Soul concedes and sits in a perfect spot third. Has 2 lengths to make up. Media Blitz is fourth. Red Storm Risen along the rail, and 1.5 lengths to KP. All systems go. Down the backstretch they run, and it's Margot's Boy leading it by a neck to Evening Sun second. It's 2 more lengths to Ready Soul. Red Storm Risen is pretty keen along the inside, tugging fiercely on the rail with a half-mile left to go. Media Blitz is 2 behind him, and then KP. All systems go. 3 groups of 2 into the far turn. It's Margot's Boy, Evening Sun. Ready Soul is third, about 2 off the lead, being pushed along now, ask for a bit more. At the rail, Red Storm Risen, Media Blitz, and KP. All systems go. Anyone's race as the field turns for home. Evening Sun comes through on the inside to take the lead. On the outside, Ready Soul. Center of the course, Media Blitz is finishing well. 4 of them line up. Ready Soul, Media Blitz. Ready Soul's just in front. Media Blitz on the outside. Ready Soul in a hard-fought decision. Media Blitz second. Red Storm Risen, Evening Sun.
Well, that had to put a smile on your face, Nick, hitting the winner's circle there with Ready Soul. We saw a very game victory going 1 1/8. Today's distance is a flat mile. You get the riding services of Johnny V. Flavien not on board today. Tell us what you expect of Ready Soul as well as his main competition in the race.
Well, it's never a bad thing to have Johnny in your corner, that's for sure. We had the Pratt factor there when we won, but I'm more than happy to have Johnny aboard today. I looked at this race, Tom, and I just said, who's going to set the pace in this race today? A lot of these horses are turning back in distance, but I'm in a quandary as to who's going to make the lead.
There's no speed merchant, so to speak. It should be a fairly realistic soft pace.
I believe it will be.
Will that benefit you?
Well, I think we're going to be up close. That's the game plan at least. But who's going to be in front of us? That's the key. I think we're going to be forwardly placed. I made us the horse to beat.
But it could be a jockey's race.
I think it's going to be very much a jockey's race.
Talk to us, Nick, about the workouts. I see the Bullet workout 2 back on January 23rd over the training track. Not sure that Phil D'Amato puts up many bullets, and it was best of 31 that day. How do you travel that morning, and what do you think of the workout?
He's trained as well as he has since he's been here. Couldn't be more happy with the way he's done in the mornings. They're on the training track. They're on dirt. How that's going to show his form on turf is kind of an unknown. But when he's trained on dirt in the past, he hasn't trained the way he's trained coming up to this race.
And his last race was transferred over to the main track, the Grade 3 San Gabriel. He actually ran very well that day as well. So it looks like he does handle the main track surface. If Ready Soul, unfortunately, were to get beat today, who do you consider
forwardly placed in the race as well? And like we said, it's going to be a rider's race. He's going to save all the ground from that inside post. I think he's our primary competition.
I asked you what makes great riders. What makes Hall of Fame trainers? You talked about Subconscious being trained by Richard Mandela. He obviously knows his way around to plenty of good horses. What do those Hall of Fame trainers do that maybe some of the other trainers don't?
Well, they put themselves in positions by winning to get better horses. But no one's ever been gifted into the Hall of Fame. So there's a lot of hard work that goes into it to get those horses. They have a good crew that works for them. I mean, you look at Baffert with Jimmy Barnes, been with him for a long time. I think you're
Richie Baltus has some guys that have been around the game a long time.
Richie Baltus, Phil worked for Mike Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
Mike's not with us anymore, and he's not in the Hall of Fame, but he's definitely a Hall of Fame candidate.
And there's a few others like Mel Studi and some others.
Mel Studi, there's many of them. But, I think more than anything, and like Bobby Frankel had it, it's a sixth sense. You can't even, it's not a tangible thing. They just know. They know when their horses are right. They have a feel for it.
They're almost like horse whisperers.
Kind of in a way, yeah. We were just talking about him today.
No. Race number 2 begins the 50-cent early pick 4. We're on the main track. 6 furlongs of the distance, allowance optional claiming types, fillies and mares. Just a field of 4 after the scratch of number 1, the morning line favorite. Number 2, Big Sweep from the Mark Glatt barn. 8-5 on the morning line here, Nick. Not much to choose from, but tell us who you like.
Yeah, we got 4 horses, Tom, so it's tough to look anywhere else for me but the favorite. She's been running, she just ran 3rd in a race that Warren Showtime came out of. I would hate to run against Warren Showtime in a one other than. So I think she's the class of the race. I gave her the nod. My second choice was the outside filly, or mare, I should say, Delmar Drama. Did the surface change really move her up the other day? That was a huge effort. I'm a sheets guy. I'm a rags guy. And that was a very, very strong number for her. So I could she give the 2 competition? Absolutely. I made it 2-5.
2 and 5 in race number 2, as Nick just said. With the scratch of Vegan, there's no runners eligible to be claimed in this race, Nick. But you've been known to drop a claim tag every now and then. Not that much, but when you do drop the tag, what are some of the things you're looking for? Are you looking maybe to change up the horse's running style? Maybe add blinkers, take blinkers off, put it on the turf for the first time? Like, what goes into the decision to make a claim?
Great question, Tom. I think the primary thing we're looking for is something to change. Could it be blinkers? Could it be turf, routing, shortening up something? Because anytime, all these people who place these horses, they're pretty sharp.
Very sharp.
So you kind of have to have a little bit of an angle going in.
And they say sometimes the best claim is when you're the only claim. If you're shaking for a horse, a lot of times it doesn't work out as well as if you're the only claim. If it's that obvious and there's that many trainers in for the shake, then it's probably not a good claim.
The obvious doesn't allude to many people, Tom, as we know and see around here. Those 15-way shakes, sometimes you win them, and those are the worst ones you can win.
But doesn't that apply to life too, Nick? In other words, there's a big difference between sharps and squares. Those are 2 words that are used in the gambling dictionary. And, in life, nothing gets given away. And a lot of times gamblers get sucked into something that looks so obvious, and it doesn't prove to be so obvious.
Yeah, I mean, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is.
Speaking from experience for both of us, that's for sure. Let's turn the page and take a look at race number 3. Still sprinting on the main track, this time 7 furlongs, allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than. Field of 7 and the very impressive number 5, Shaw's from the Bob Baffert barn. 105 Buyer speed figure on debut is the heavy 4-5 morning line favorite. Anybody going to be able to beat the chalk here, Nick?
Not that I can see. I mean, shoot. The horse runs a 5 first time on rags. That's a giant number. I did find it interesting, though, and you don't see many trainers, much less Baffert, doing this after a win. Throws blinkers on. What more could the horse have done? What
Well, we don't know. We're going to find out, right?
There's more improvement in the tank. Wow, this could be scary. 4 to 5 could be a gift.
You talked about using the sheets, and one of the popular terminologies that sheet players use is called a bounce. Of course, it's a reaction to a really good performance. Now, typically, my experience is most of the Baffert runners don't bounce, but is bounce a realistic, type of phenomenon?
Absolutely. And if you're a sheet reader and you see a giant number and an out of the ordinary number for a horse, most of the time they do react.
But it makes logical sense, right? They put forth such an excruciating type of effort that now they're naturally going to react to it. We see it in pro sports as well.
And we've seen it with our horses where a horse will run a giant number and you say, God, was that number off? And then you wheel them back relatively quickly and they bounce.
And they fool you too, because they give you every indication that they're not going to bounce, and yet they still do bounce.
Absolutely. That's why, to me, the numbers they're pretty huge.
Race number 4. Let's see if we can find a winning number in this particular race. And race number 4, as you well know, on a 9-race card, begins the 20-cent Rainbow Pick 6 jackpot single ticket carryover, now up to $352,000. That'll be yours if you're the only winning ticket in today's Pick 6 sequence. And we kick it off going 6 furlongs on the main track. Maiden claiming 3-year-olds in for a $30,000 tag. 2 first-time geldings. Number 4, Besame Mucho, and also number 6, Mr. Bug Z, are both first-time geldings. Morning line favorite right above that. Number 3, Fort Bridger from the Ryan Hansen Barn, ridden by the Bug Boy. 9 to 5 in a field of 10 here. Talk to us about race 4.
I like the 9, State of the Union.
Tell us why.
A little barn switch. The workouts are pretty good since joining the Jonathan Wong shed row. Gets Lasix, which a lot of these 3-year-olds get this
time of year.
Yeah,
right.
First start as a 3-year-old, so it's first time Lasix for him. That was my top choice in this race. I think it's
good
awesome.
Price, 6 to 1.
Yeah, and I think it's very, very cool the way Jonathan Wong gives Jessica a shot back.
As a matter of fact, they've ridden 5 times over the course of the last year with 1 victory. So Jessica perhaps in line for an Eclipse Award this coming Thursday right here at San Anita as the leading apprentice jockey for last year. Good luck to her and her connection, including her agent, Brandon O'Brien. If there was another danger to number 9, State of the Union, in race 4, looks like graphically you like the 3, Fort Bridger.
Yeah, I mean, he's the favorite. Ran a good race, kind of stopped though, was dueled and then caught. Comes back with a couple good works. I would probably make that probably the horse to beat. I was looking for value when I looked to the 9.
As handicappers, Nick, we kind of talk about condition book plays, and I'm going to use Fort Bridger as an example. Ran on New Year's Day here for maiden 40, now drops to maiden 30. The drop could be suspicious, but at the same time, I don't have a photographic memory of how many maiden 40s went at 6 furlongs since January 1st. Sometimes as an owner, you're forced into running into a position where maybe you don't really want to run.
Yeah, 30, 40, 50, they can all kind of be the same, Tom. I mean, if you have a horse that maybe you think is going to get claimed, 50 could detour him. But that 30 through 50, it makes them starter eligible.
Correct.
And I know for myself and a lot of the people out here, that's kind of what you're looking for. So I don't really see this as a drop-in class.
Fair enough. Let's take a look. 9-3, by the way, in race number 4 for Nick Casado. Let's take a look at race number 5. Begins the 50-cent late pick 5 sequence. We're back on the turf course. 1 mile is the distance. Allowance optional claiming types. Non-winners of 1 other than. Scratch the 4. Leaves us with a field of 8. The morning line favorite, number 6, Prince Obama from the Phil D'Amato barn. 5 to 2 on the morning line. Now, a lot of horse players out there think, look, you've got Phil D'Amato as a trainer. He's telling you every single winner in his barn. Did he talk to you at all about any of his other runners on today's card?
He never brings it up unless I ask, and that's kind of the norm with most trainers.
That's the professional way to do it, right?
Yeah, I don't want a bunch of people asking about my horses, and I'm sure other owners feel the same. So unless you ask a trainer,
took place just from a pure handicapping standpoint. Who do you like in this race and why?
I can't look beyond Phil's 2 horses.
And that
I actually like the bottom horse best.
And tell us why.
Well, Rispoli has ridden both of the Phil horses, both of the D'Amato horses. He also rode the 1 last time. And Scotty does a pretty darn good job when he's got multiple.
Scotty
horses.
McClellan, his
Scotty
agent.
McClellan, Umberto's agent.
Chris McCarron, Alex Solis comes to mind of jockeys he represented in the past.
Yes, Scotty puts a lot of thought into things. And it looks like here to me, he had his choice. I like the fact that he opts to go with the 9.
Fair enough. And you also like, obviously, the other Phil D'Amato, the favorite Prince Obama.
Yeah, the other D'Amato gets Pratt, which again, how can you go wrong with that? Has run some very good races, a little bit of a turn back in distance. I think 1 1/8 was a bit far for him the other day. So I think the mile distance will definitely suit him.
It's as easy as playing the 2 Phil D'Amato runners in race number 5. So says Nick Casado. Let's see who he likes in the Grade 2 Santa Monica Stakes, which goes as the 6th race on our card. Also, race 6 begins the 50-cent late pick 4, and they're sprinting 7 furlongs on the main track, including the champion of the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint Race, number 2, Cece, who has earned $1.7 million in her career from 16 lifetime starts. She's certainly the class of the field at 3 to 5, but she's surrounded by 2 Bob Bafferts. Number 1, Calypso, the newly turned 4-year-old who's running against older for the first time, and also Merneath coming back off a long layoff. Second off the layoff for the Baffert barn, a daughter of American Pharoah who's only finished out of the money 1 time in her career. Give us your thoughts on race 6.
Gosh, again, I mean, I hate to be Johnny Obvious, but you look here, I mean, her numbers just tower over the rest of the field. Yes, absolutely. She's running 6s and 4s. She's 3 to 5. Can you play a 3 to 5 shot? You got to hook them up maybe in a multi-race wager.
You'd never play a 3 to 5 to win.
No, I wouldn't. I don't even know that I'd play 4 to 5. But it almost looks in this race like she could win if it's a workout for her.
Sure.
I can't see beyond her, Tom.
Isn't it interesting, Nick, when you look at Cece's past performances, that the connections tried to make her a 2-turn horse? Of course, that's where a lot of the money is. And they were trying to basically develop her in a 2-turn horse. And as soon as they cut her back to sprinting, and she always showed the ability to sprint, she's really become, I mean, let's face it, she's become a superstar.
She has. And I tip my cap to Michael McCarthy, who has done a phenomenal job with this mare. Bo Hirsch, who I know personally, he gives trainer a lot of latitude, and I think Michael's called some great shots with this mare.
We need more owners like Bo Hirsch and Nick Casado, that's for sure. Race number 7, we're coming down the Hillside Turf Course. This race is coming down the hill. It's for allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 2 other than. Scratch the also eligible number 11. Leaves us with a field of 10, the lukewarm morning line favorite, once again from the Phil D'Amato barn. Number 5, Coltard, 7-2 on the morning line. Give us winner in race 7, Nick.
Well, you know, Tom, I think it's awesome that we have this Hillside course back.
Tremendous.
I mean, and you and I could probably, I don't know if we've ever had this conversation, but horses that like that trip, they like it.
It's funny you bring that up, Nick, and I've said this before on air, but I was doing a Breeders' Cup preview race one time coming down the hill with Jeff Siegel, who's the dean of the press box. And he simply said to me on air, and it makes a lot of sense, the hill is the hill.
Exactly.
Right? The hill is the hill. If they like it, they like it. And if they don't like it, they don't like it. It's so unique. It's such a great spectacle to watch as a racing fan and a horse player. It's great that we've now instituted it back as part of our racing schedule.
Yeah, it's tremendous. I mean, we all love it. We've been around here forever, and it was sad that it was gone for, about 2 years?
At least.
Welcome back.
Absolutely. Good job by the entire management team here getting it back onto the schedule. Now, having given a lot of kisses and praises to everybody about the coming back on the Hillside Turf Course, tell us who you like in race 7 and why. Fantastic.
Looks like a hill horse to me.
Sure does, right? And then that race 2 back on October 31st, which is the same day that your horse, Ready Soul, ran in a different race, got in all sorts of trouble with Umberto that particular day for trainer Pete Urton. Came back last time out at an incredible 5-1 on the flat turf course, 6.5 going on the flat course, not coming down the hill. But I think that down the hill effort 2 races back speaks volumes in terms of fantastic, perhaps liking the hill.
Absolutely should have been unsaddled that day.
No doubt about it. Go back and watch that replay. You like
your eyes closed,
especially if you own the horse. 4-1 on the morning line. You talked about maybe playing some exotics when there's a 3 to 5 favorite involved. There's no 3 to 5 favorite in this race, but if you were playing exactas and tries, who would you key with fantastic?
The other Urton runner, Exaltation, the 3.
Fair. And why?
You know, value, 12-1. Mikey Smith, Hall of Fame rider. I do think that this horse also is a hill type of horse.
And it's interesting, you talked about the 2 Urton runners, and we can see if you look at the racing form that right now the Pete Urton barn is absolutely red hot. They're on fire, as are a few other barns as well. I talk a lot about on some of the Pick 6 segments how hot the Vladimir Serin barn. My point to you and my question to you, Nick, is what makes barns hot and cold? In other words, do horses kind of sense victory or sense defeat? Like why are there certain stables, many stables that kind of run in a streaky fashion?
Well, that's a great question, Tom. I think a lot of it's barn chemistry. You start to get the flow, you start to get confidence. Trainers also start running horses a little more aggressively. When you're slumping, you tend to do things that you wouldn't ordinarily do.
Just like when you miss some free throws in basketball.
Yeah, you're making them and it looks like, a pond that you're throwing the ball into. You start missing them and it looks like a thimble.
Yeah.
Same thing with these trainers and horses. And I do also think conditions, if you don't have a high claiming barn, conditions kind of you can run through them and you can be stuck because you can't run a horse for a tag and they're a conditioned horse and the races might be too tough. Pete's winning at 21%.
Yes, he is.
That's phenomenal right now.
It sure is. Nick, one of the things that I really haven't asked many guests, but I'll ask you is we're a year-round sport. We don't get any breaks like all the other major sports, baseball, basketball, football. They all get a little bit of a break to kind of catch their breath. How do you stay basically sharp mentally, not only as an owner for Slam Dunk, but also when you were an agent? Like, how do you sustain that drive and determination, for 365 days a year?
Well, when I was an agent, it wasn't as easy taking breaks. There was more racing. Like, for example, at Del Mar, we raced 6 days a week.
Incredible.
Tuesday was our only dark day. Here, it was 5 days a week. Hollywood Park, it was 5 days a week. So it was a much, much greater grind. Now, every week's almost like a vacation.
Sure.
We're racing Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you're getting burned out now, you need to find another occupation.
Race number 8 begins. I didn't say I was burnt out. Race number 8 is our one.
No, you didn't.
Race number 8 begins the $1 Golden Hour Pick 4. It links our last 2 races at Golden Gate with the last 2 races at Santa Anita. And we kick it off here in race number 8 with the grade 2 Sam Pasquale going 1 mile and an eighth on the main track. Field of 6, the morning line favorite and the defending champion. The winner of this race last year is number 2, Express Train. 2-1 on the morning line for trainer John Sheriffs and jockey Victor Espinoza. Express Train, we know, likes this distance going 1 mile and an eighth. Unfortunately, none of the other runners have won at this distance. Is it as easy as that?
It's in my opinion, it's not. He looks obvious, right? I mean, he won this race
just like we talked about before.
Turn back in distance, a distance that he loves, but he's never won 2 in a row. Never won 2 races in a row. And when I'm looking for value, I look at the favorite, see how beatable they are. If they're not beatable, I pass the race. If they are, I jump in the water. I think this horse is beatable at a short price today.
Who's going to beat him?
Baffert with Spielberg, the 5.
Now, let me ask you a question about Spielberg because I took a long look at the horse. Now, if you notice last time out, he ran a Beyer speed figure of 89, which is close to his career best, but he added Lasix that day. Today, because it's a stake race, he won't be able to use Lasix. Am I overthinking it?
Not at all, and that was actually my concern. These horses, you give them Lasix, and if they are bleeding a little bit, and now suddenly they don't, and you take it away, I actually think taking it away is worse than never giving it. So that was the big question mark that I had, and I was actually going to allude to that. And
I didn't even look over your shoulder.
So sharp.
I didn't look over your shoulder and look at your notes.
Yeah.
And I wanted to follow up on one thing you just mentioned, Nick, which is basically talking about Express Train never winning 2 races in a row. Is it super difficult for most horses to put together a consecutive winning streak?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think horses that win 3 and 4 in a row, it's very hard to do, especially on major circuits, in stake races and graded races. So him not winning 2 in a row is a little bit of a concern for me. And he almost doesn't even run like races. Like, he won't run first and then barely get beat second. He's third beaten 7, fourth beaten 10. That's my angle. We always look for angles when we're gambling, and that's my angle in this race.
5 and 2 in the Sam Pasquale. Spielberg. As a matter of fact, I don't even know if you like Express Train track second. Who did you like second?
Law Professor.
Law Professor, and I can understand the reasoning behind that as well, even though we didn't talk about it. And the reason we didn't talk about it is because we're running out of time, and we want to take a look at race number 9. As I mentioned earlier, this race is on the flat turf course, 6.5 furlongs of the distance. Also, it begins the $5 Golden Hour Daily Double. Similar concept. Last race here with the last race at Golden Gate, and we close it out for Calbreds. Allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than. Program scratch of the 8 still leaves us with a full field of 12. Take note, number 1, Like the Wind, is a first-time gelding. The morning line favorite is owned by the person on my left here. Bricks, number 7, is the 7-2 lukewarm morning line favorite. Not to put you in the torture chamber here, Nick, but we want to go back and watch the replay for Bricks' last effort, and afterwards we'll get your commentary.
This must be.
And they're off. Crossword is hustled out to battle for the early lead. He's joined by Me Likey, Too Late on the extreme outside, three of them across the track. Then comes Dream Robber in the blue silks, racing in fourth, and quite a handful. Dream Robber had to absolutely step on the brakes there and steadied, losing several lengths in the process. In the meantime, Riding with Dino goes by that rival past the half-mile pole and is 4 lengths off the lead. Alexander's Dream is next. On the extreme outside, Preaching Trainer, no alternative but to go 4 wide into the turn. That group is followed by Bricks, who just went by Dream Robber, who continues to drop back. Play Chicken is next. Allegato, the favorite. White Silks trying to launch a bid. 8 off the pace on the far outside. And Rifey is the trailer. They're at the top of the stretch. Too Late, the leader. Alexander's Dream comes to engage on the outside. These two pass the 8th pole. 1-2. Riding with Dino is running a strong race. Allegato and Bricks is trying to find a seam between horses. 16th pole. Here comes Allegato after Riding with Dino. Riding with Dino or Allegato. Riding with Dino. Here's the line. Riding with Dino and Allegato in a close photo. Finishing third was Alexander's Dream, who was followed by Bricks and Rifey.
So let's go behind the rope, so to speak, Nick. After that race, of course, you probably were disappointed. We saw Umberto desperately searching for room outside, inside, and then kind of flattened out. Does Umberto kind of communicate with you either after the race that night over dinner or maybe the next morning and tell you his thoughts?
I actually walked back with him after the race. He's a guy that gives you pretty good feedback when he rides a race for you. And, you know, he said, yeah, we were wide, and then he kind of floated in, and he got impeded a little bit floating in, and then he just kind of ran out of gas and was a little flat. So it was a disappointing effort for Bricks, but hopefully he rebounds today and puts his best foot forward.
30 seconds left. We know you like Bricks on top. Who's his competition?
I made it to 3. Huge effort last time. 9.5 on sheets. Gets Pratt back. Doug O'Neill's not doing much wrong these days. Just won the big race over in Dubai.
Worldwide, yeah.
And I think he was back there for the race, as a matter of fact. But I think the 3, he's won at this, not at the distance, but at the trip on the flat. And I do think, again, horses that like it. He has an extra half furlong today.
Nick, thanks so much for your time and insight today. It's always a pleasure having you and your insights, of course, on all the races, as well as just for general handicapping principles. Best of luck with your 2 runners today and for the remainder of the year.
Thank you, Tommy. Thank you for having me.
Thanks to all of you for watching as well. Hope you enjoyed it. Next voice you hear will be track announcer Frank Miramati updating us with any late program changes. Have fun, everybody, and good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park. Here are the changes. The first race, the Grade 3 Thunder Road Stakes, starts to early pick 5. We have a blinker note. In the second, scratch number 1, Vegan, started the early pick 4. Blinkers added to number 5 in race 3. In the fourth, Rainbow Pick 6 starts, $352,000 in the jackpot for a single ticket winner. Number 6, Mr. Bug Z, 3 pounds over. Race 5, scratch number 4, Limubat, start of the late pick 5. The Grade 2 Santa Monica is the 6th race. Start of the late pick 4, no changes. In the 7th, scratch number 11, Guildsman. 8th, the Grade 2 San Pasquale, no changes. Start of the golden hour, pick 4. And in the 9th, we have the program scratch of number 8, Telemark, the golden hour double. Starts with our finale. No show wagering in the second race today. Rainbow Pick 6 with a jackpot carryover of $352,000 starts with the 4th. Please wear your mask if you are not eating or drinking. That is per order of the Los Angeles County Department of Public Health. Enjoy your day at Santa Anita Park. 25 minutes to post for the opener.